Start your business now. Today is the best day to start your business. Start now. Hi, my name is Do Kim and I'm an entrepreneur with many passions. And in this series, we're going to talk about taxes. Nobody likes that word.
Nope.
And I have another guest, and this is Gabby. And she is my video editor, and she does much more than that. So, Gabby, can you introduce yourself? You know, people want to know who you are.
Hello, people of donation. I'm Gabby. Like Do said, I help her on her videos. I help edit and do thumbnails with her. In addition to that, I also work as a podcast producer. I kind of work in the comedy space, in the relationship space, and rewatch space. So doing all kinds of podcasts.
How did you get into this field?
Well, it's a story.
It's a story.
A story that I didn't think I would be telling, but here we are. So I worked as a physician assistant, actually, in medicine about 3 years ago now.
A PA.
I was a PA. Yep, doing that thing. And I had always had a desire to do something creative. And this moment in life kind of happened where my brother was encouraging me to come out. I was unhappy in that space. And so I said, you know what? Let's do it. So
that's a big jump.
It was a big jump. So,
that takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
Yeah, going from physician's assistant to something completely different.
180. Yeah, so I drove across the country.
From where?
From Georgia.
From Georgia. Okay.
From Georgia, and moved to LA and quickly found myself in the podcast space working for a boutique podcast company. Mm-hmm. And then I slowly got my own clients. So I was working for the company and working with private clients, and then completely transitioned last year to just being freelance. So now I'm fully freelance, and here we are.
Here we are. So last year was your first freelance year?
Not full year, but half of the year was fully freelance, yes.
Okay. And let's talk about taxes. People don't like to talk about this, do we?
Let's do it, I guess.
Maybe we could help some people out there.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts around taxes, by the way?
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. There seems to be a lot of things that you have to know. A lot of things I definitely don't know. How does it work for a freelance specifically? What are the key things I need to know? I don't know. All the things still.
I know. We've had many discussions on this. We have some good talks about it.
Yes.
So for a freelancer, for their first time, I mean, where do you start, right? Where do you start? How did you even find your accountant last year?
So my brother, he works in the
Your
podcast.
brother must know a lot of stuff.
My brother works in the podcast space too, and they had an accountant that works with them on their podcast. So I said, hey, can you help me? So he set me up with their accountant to kind of help me out doing all that freelancey stuff.
Usually that's how it works. Most people find their accountant through, family or friends, and that's a very natural phenomenon. So luckily we could ask around and find some good people. So I want to understand your first tax season. Kind of like, did they even tell you what to bring? Did they email you anything?
So I never met him in person.
Oh, you never met him in person?
No, it was all email.
Okay.
I saw a picture of his face on his little Gmail.
Sometimes that could happen nowadays more than ever before.
So, I mean, I basically told him what my situation was. Hey, I do freelance, but also was working for a company. And he sent me back an email giving me a list of all the documents I should send him. And I had all these documents squared away, so it was relatively easy for me to just...
She's pretty organized.
Yes, yeah. I had them. I just needed to scan them. I knew I should save these things because they seemed important. So I just save all those important things in one little section, and I had them. So I scanned all those forms in and then sent them to him. And then he also had some kind of Excel spreadsheet for me for... expenses and things. Okay. And gave me categories to break it down.
But, nice. Yeah. Okay.
But it's still, I didn't keep all those receipts, so I don't know. That's the one thing I need to also be better about is keeping track of expenses.
Yes. We all know trying to do this once a year is a lot of headache.
Yes.
It could bring a lot of stress, right? So is this year going to be a little different for you, 2023?
I mean, I would like to try. So the idea with having the accountant help me last year was so I can have an idea of what it should look like, what it can look like.
Okay.
So my hope is that I feel like I'm still small enough that I can manage it myself. And so I can have a better grasp of my finances and be really in the weeds with it and not just rely on someone else. Yes. I would like to do it myself this year and also just be more mindful.
I don't recommend doing your own taxes.
She doesn't.
You know what? I do recommend doing it through a person, but like TurboTax or any of those platforms, I use tax apps.
Right, that's what I mean. Not actually.
Right.
Using an intermediary. Yeah. No, I'm not just gonna get some papers and try and fill them out. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of the platforms nowadays is very intuitive.
Yes.
So it's very, very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay. So she's gonna change her process this year. So I'm going to watch her walk through this. Getting the information together for your accountant, what was that like? Like, how long did that take you?
It didn't take me too long because, like I said, when I received these forms in the mail, because I knew like 1099s or W-2s, those are important. Yes. I should have those.
Yes,
I just put them together. So anytime I would get some kind of important tax document, I had them all together. So when he asked for these things, it was easy for me to grab and scan and send. Okay. So it wasn't quite long for me. It was maybe a week or two.
A week or two. So curious, how did you figure out your expenses?
Last year?
Yeah.
I went through my statements to look for the big ones I remembered.
Got it.
So that's some of the big ones. So last year I did a lot of like one-on-one business coaching, which was like an obvious one to me. So I looked through, I was like, oh yeah, this is how much that is.
Okay.
But
you did have to scan through all the statements.
I remembered. I thought about the things and then looked for them.
Okay.
That's more what it was than actually going through every single thing.
In another episode, I am going to help you categorize or find your expenses faster. So stay tuned for that.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Or having a system for even just writing it down throughout the year. So it doesn't become a thing later at the very end of the year.
So I do recommend doing this quarterly, like every 3 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, 3 months kind of goes by fast these days, right?
Sure does.
So if you're doing this, like even if you're doing this like every 6 months, half a year, I mean, I will applaud you because that means there's less to do during tax season.
Yes.
And for those of you who have a lot of business expense, I highly recommend minimum quarterly, like every 3 months.
Right.
Every 3 months. Yeah. So I am going to help this woman this year take the stress off of doing taxes.
Yes. I would love that.
Yes. So can you share with everyone, is there anything you would do differently this year? So meaning we have to do 2022 taxes, right? Last year's taxes. Would you do anything different this year or would you just follow the same guideline that the accountant gave you?
I would do things differently. So he said that I should be filing quarterly.
Oh, yes.
Like you just mentioned. That was for your expenses. But he also did say, he had asked me if I had been filing quarterly. I was like, no. He said, okay. But the implication was that I think I should be. Wasn't very clear either. So I don't know.
I love this talk. Do you even know what that means?
Not really.
Okay.
But I know it's something that freelance people do.
Yeah.
So I would do that. I would figure out what that means.
Yes.
And if I can begin to do that process. I don't really know. But to also do what you said about being more on top of my expenses. Because I don't like this. Because at the end of the year, having to track back, because I think I forget a lot.
We forget.
Lose track of things.
Yeah.
And I'm losing out on money.
Yes.
It's the big thing.
It's a big deal when you forget to add an item that's an expense, right?
Yes.
So you're paying more taxes if you don't do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
So in the first episode, we do mention estimated taxes, paying them. So that's when accountants throw out like do things quarterly or pay your taxes quarterly, it just means that you go online every quarter. So it's like 15 days after the quarter ends. Usually. So I just paid my estimated taxes for fourth quarter. Okay. So that's October, November, December of last year. It was due this year on the 17th because there was a weekend date on the 15th. So it just happened and Martin Luther King holiday. Yeah. So I just went online and paid that on the 17th. See, I kind of wait till the last minute too. It's kind of horrible.
Wait, online where?
So I know.
Where is the code?
I know. So if you search IRS estimated tax, then it will lead you to the government website.
Oh, okay.
IRS.gov.
Gotcha.
But you do want to put an estimated tax payment, and then you'll get to the right page. Oh, okay. And then you have to go through answering some questions. It's fresh in my mind, so I could tell you.
Okay, great.
So it'll ask you like personal information. So you can sign up for, I believe, pay.gov. You could sign up as a user, right? But I chose not to. I didn't want to at this time. I don't know why, but it'll ask you questions about like your name, your social security number, your previous address for the tax return year. So if you put in like, let's say 2021 year, then you must provide the address that you provided on that tax form.
I see. Okay.
So that's how they identify you as this person, right? With your social security number. And then you could select the year that you're paying and the quarter. And that's how you pay. But then the trickier part is the amount. How much do you pay?
How do you estimate it appropriately?
Yeah. So this is the trickier part, but my advice. Now, if this is your first year as a freelancer, you'll have to just take a percentage. Right. But if you know how much you made last year and you know how much you paid in taxes, you at least want to pay that much from last year.
Like a quarter of that?
No, all of that.
Oh.
Yeah. So on your tax return from last year, you could find the federal tax amount. And you just want to make sure that if your income is on par from last year, then you have a reference point, right? But if your income increased substantially, then you have to increase your taxes too. Tax payment. So I recommend this all the time because we can get into a lot of trouble if we're trying to pay this big amount once a year. Right. So I know that's what he meant by estimated tax or quarterly. Do this quarterly. Like he didn't explain.
So do you get money back if you pay too much?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like when you're an employee, they automatically take taxes out, right? And if you've overpaid, you'll get that refund back.
At the at the end of the
after you pay.
Oh, okay. After the quarter, after you pay the quarter.
No,
or later.
So you only get refunds if you overpaid after the tax return is filed.
at the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay, so the full year passed. So the 4 quarters passed.
Yeah.
And then they evaluate.
After you do all your hard work and filing the tax return.
Oh my God.
And look at her look. I see this look all the time, but she's
Right.
fortunate. She's fortunate. She has me to help her. But yeah, it is overwhelming, isn't it? As like a newer freelancer.
Yes. Wait, so let me recap.
Okay.
For myself.
Yes, please.
So you submit estimated taxes every quarter.
After the quarter is done.
After the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still do a year tax return.
Yes.
Oh, see, I thought it was. I
Yes.
thought it was like you can do it quarterly, or you just do this big year
Oh,
thing.
got it. You thought that you could file your taxes
That's
quarterly.
what I thought he meant. Yes.
That's
what was confusing.
I know,
Okay.
I know. So a lot of accountants and CPAs, I just want to forewarn you, they just don't have time to explain to every single client
Right.
these things. And this is exactly the reason why I'm doing these videos, because it's so confusing for new people.
Sure is.
Right? Like, what do I do? What is this quarterly thing that everybody's talking about?
Yeah.
So going back to the quarterly tax payment, it's not only to the federal government, the IRS, that you have to pay. You also have to pay
To the state.
to the state
Oh my
separately. In California, it's
okay.
franchise tax board. That's California.
Okay.
But yeah, every state is different, but you have to do 2 payments quarterly. So I know there's so much to navigate and maneuver during tax season. So this is, again, I hope that this is really helping you. I hope that you're writing some things down, and we'll have some information on the link below so that you don't have to go digging for this website, you know?
Yes.
But this will be specific to California. So does that make sense to you, Gabby?
Yes,
About
I
this?
understand it now.
Okay, I know. Accountants
it.
CPAs will throw a quarterly thing
Yes.
around.
So
and
you
you're-
should be paying quarterly estimated taxes at the end of every quarter, and you still submit a full year tax return.
Yes,
in the tax.
She got it. She got it.
Got it.
She is learning today. So I hope you are too.
So you're only doing that if you are a freelance or a solo entrepreneur, not if you're an employee of a company.
That's right. So if you're an employee of a company, you'll get a W-2. And taxes have already been taken out. So it's much easier to file your tax return, actually. But as a independent contractor, freelancer, the companies are not taking out your taxes. That is completely up to you. So that's why this is hard.
Yes.
And so don't be in a situation this year, current year, pay your estimated taxes so that you don't owe this enormous amount when you file your taxes. And that's where a lot of people get into trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Del.
That's a lot of information, isn't it?
But helpful information.
Okay.
I'll just let it marinate.
Okay.
Today.
Okay. And I will help her.
Yes.
So, and I'm trying to help you. So if you have any tax questions, I am not a CPA, but if you want a topic covered, please comment below. I would love to hear from you what is on your mind about taxes. And I just want to thank Gabby for joining me here today. She is amazing. Thanks for editing all my videos. Like, I make so many mistakes. She knows this.
Happy to.
And she edits so well. You cannot see any of my mistakes as a beginner YouTuber, you know?
No, I'm happy to. Thank you for sharing your knowledge today and with all of us, because I know it's helpful.
All right. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.